Hi, my name is Sarah Fell, and I like to give my dolls new faces inspired by things that I like. Today I'm doing another sort of messy video like my last one, where it's a kind of casual, kind of messy talk-over, voiceover, instead of me directly telling you what I am doing and going into specifics, and that's just because this is the fastest way I can get a video out. And I wanted to just do a sort of final huzzah before I'd be too busy to work on dolls, and that would in turn mean recording and possibly releasing videos. So this is just letting you know, hey, this video is going to be messy, and it's going to be one of my last videos for a while, I think. I'll have to see. So you can already tell from the clips and the title and the thumbnail about where the direction for this G3 Spectra is going to go, but I already have these clips recorded and I wanted to pad the runtime out a bit, I'm gonna be honest, so I decided to just include these clips anyway. So this Spectra, I originally did not go in with a plan, and that's what you see me doing here. She was kind of just going to be my version of Spectra, but even when I do a sort of Seraphel version of the ghouls, I try to have at least an idea of what sort of face I want to do on them. And I didn't have that in mind. I thought I was gonna wing it at least. So I kind of threw her bare face, if you would, plain face down, and honestly, I didn't like it a lot, or I didn't like it very much. I tried to do the whole transparent eye thing that the factory Spectras have in their screenings, because she's like a ghost, but I don't know, I didn't like the way it looked on her. Maybe it's just the shade of pink that I chose. It just made her look like she had very tired eyes. Also, I think with her brow sculpt, she did not suit these super thin eyebrows. I feel like if they were a little bit thicker, they would have looked better, but at the time, I don't know why I was so hell-bent on giving her these really thin, angled eyebrows. I think, again, I was trying to go for like a mean look, but maybe I just don't have it in me. And also, Spectra's lips are freaking juiced, and that makes it a little hard when it comes to pastel applications on the lips, because it can get really patchy. The pastel will really fall into the deeper crevices of her face, and also the MSC technically applies unevenly because of all the crevices on her face as well. So her lips just turned out really patchy. I wanted to do like an even color of something, but I just wasn't mixing the colors well, and her lips just didn't look good. But I was so hell-bent on getting this doll out that I was like, I have to look past this. I have to keep pushing through. Oh, and here's this clip. So I dropped my tray of pastels. I have a rather small workspace, and if anything, it was my fault for not paying close attention while I was moving things around my desk. But after this, I kind of just got so frustrated because I didn't like the way her face was looking. I dropped the pastels. I had to sorry, I had to freaking pick up all the individual pieces of pastel off the floor. I had to clean up my floor, and I really was just not feeling it. I ended up turning to a different project, which hopefully will one day go on this go on this channel get uploaded into a video. But yeah, I was kind of intent on calling it quits for this doll. And I've never actually quit on a doll before, but I was just that frustrated until I was just scrolling on Twitter and I saw this beautiful screenshot from this user. I believe this is Widowmaker from Overwatch, and this is specifically her ghostly bride skin. But I saw this and my eye twitched, my Seraphel senses were tingling. I said I had to do this on a doll immediately. And who would better fit the idea of quote-unquote ghostly bride than Spectra Vondergeist, the ghost. So I wiped off the awful face that I did before, and I decided to start over. And let me tell you, this is probably one of my favorite face-ups, and I just think it goes to show how much being inspired can really help you. Because you can go into things without a plan sometimes. It's a great practice and activity to really get that creativity flowing. But I think I'm just the kind of person who works best when I am directly inspired by something. I don't know how exactly to word it. But yeah, this Spectra just came so easily to me. All the features just fell into place perfectly, and I just don't know how that switch just flipped from me hating everything I did in my last version of her into me being like, you know what, I feel like I'm doing everything right. Kind of feel like you're in the flow state, you know? But I also want to say that this isn't really a rare occurrence where I do one full face and I realize I hate it and I start over. I don't do it super often, but it happens more often than you would think. And part of me is maybe I shouldn't include that at all, because why would you care? Or why would anyone care about a face that isn't going to exist? But the other part of me is I feel like I would want to at least show that sometimes these things don't really come easily, and it's okay for you to want to redo something if you're not happy with it. And like I've mentioned before, I'm my biggest critic, and I'm always super nitpicky about the things that I do. And being in that negative mindset, it's super overwhelming, because that's all you can think about, the things that you're doing wrong. But I don't know, when I put these two clips back to back where I'm having the worst time of my life, and suddenly 3 days later I feel like I'm on top of the world, I don't know, maybe that'll will that do something for you, to help you realize that it's okay, things take time, and that's fine. I can't, it's almost 3 a.m. I can't think straight, so I hope you can just understand the words that I'm putting out. So I'll talk a little bit about the Spectra face while we're here. The screenshot had kind of this sepia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, tone filter on it, so I just tried my best to reinterpret that to fit Spectra's white base. I just used a lot of purples, and I used black to really blend it in, and her lip was mauve-y with a really full black gradient on her upper lip, because I think that was like the big appeal that I saw. And of course the tears, but we will get to the tears. But let me pause here. That's the first layer of her face. I also sketched in her tears, and I guess you could say that, the tears might look a lot more organic if I just had water running down her face, but I am a control freak and I would not let that happen. I am not going to let that happen. I am going to draw the individual water stains, tear marks. But I don't consider myself a professional artist, well-versed artist. I am a hobbyist. So truthfully, I just looked at the picture of Widowmaker and I kind of just copied the streaks on her face, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So now we're on my second layer, which is probably the second and the third layers are really boring because that's just me building up my colors, but I like to include it anyways because I don't know, speed paints, speed arts, they're my own personal Cocomelon. Not just mine, but I just love watching sped up processes. So I include it hoping that it's your Cocomelon too. But anyways, as an aside, Spectra's white base made it so scary to use any sort of pastel on her because that would mean she would stain. A lot of times I would get pastel on my thumb, my left thumb holding her, and I tend to hold dolls by the neck, and her neck was stained so bad I had to use what was it? Rubbing alcohol to wipe it off. Not acetone. Do not use acetone on the Monster High bodies or the Bratz in general. Do not use acetone on doll bodies. I saw someone suggest it, and I don't know how many people watch my videos, but if you need to hear it, do not use acetone on the bodies unless you are planning to melt them. There's your warning. Only use acetone on the soft vinyl, which in Monster High's case are the heads. But here for the tears, I'm using watercolor pencil. I just put a little bit of water on the tip of the pencil and then I picked it up with this super tiny brush and I kind of brushed it on. And I really liked how this turned out. I'm quite proud of how it turned out because, you know, watercolor pencil has that watercolor look, and I think that just really emphasized that, like, she's just been crying, bawling, for whatever reason. It's just so satisfying. It just looks so good. Sorry if that sounds like I'm tooting my own horn. I just think it looks so good. And I don't work linearly. I kind of just go back and forth a lot. I make the steps seem very linear in my videos, but most of the time I'm just going back and forth as to, like, if I work on pastels and then I'm satisfied with pastels and then I go in with lining again because pastels give your pencils better grip sometimes, and then sometimes after that I realize, this eye needs more pastel. I'll put more pastel there. Oh, this eye needs more line. It's not a linear process. Kind of just keep adding or taking away what you need, but I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. So you can't see it here, but off screen I took my phone and I took a head-on picture of the face, and I kind of just opened it up in the Photos app I edit it and then I sketch out my catch lights from there. Because for me, I say in my videos the catch lights kind of bring the face to life, which is like, I want to get the catch lights right, because if they look off, then it ruins the whole face for me. So it's a little meticulous, it's a little annoying, but if you ever feel like your faces are off, you can think about maybe catch light placement, and maybe that'll help you, because that definitely helps me. I usually do like those little circles on top, but I thought that would be a little too like cutesy for this type of kind of sad face, so I decided to do like these little lines instead. Also, it's a side glance, and those little dots that I do on top of the eyes tend to make the face look a little wonky if I end up choosing those catch lights over these ones. But wow, she's so pretty. Sorry. So I'm sure you're expecting like a photo montage or a video montage. That's what I usually tend to do, but like I mentioned in my last video, that is like probably my least favorite part of any video, because I'm not very good at styling my dolls, and that's because I can't sew, and I have a very limited doll clothing collection anyway. So if you've seen this dress gets passed around my dolls like it's the yearly flu shot. I don't know. But anyways, I wanted her to have nice shoes to go with her dress, but I didn't have any shoes in my collection that I was willing to kind of destroy, but I did have duplicate of these shoes. So what I did was I whittled the ball off very carefully. It was a little scary, but you'll manage, and then I painted them white. Honestly, it's a really messy job, but you know, it's the shoes. No one's looking at the doll's feet. It's fine. And here's her face. I boil washed her hair straight because her curls were disgusting and matted, as are all of Mattel's curly haired dolls, unfortunately. I wanted to do like a little interesting X here across her forehead using like a braid, but it just looked too bulky, so I just left it as the one. It's supposed to be asymmetrical, so that's fine. Also, these two tendrils and the braids, they were kind of tied into her hair using thread. It's basically instead of using elastic, you use sewing thread instead, and I've come to kind of prefer that over elastic, because elastic just makes things really bulky if you don't have the right size, and I almost never have the right size of elastic for the hairstyle I need to do. So when it comes to like little things like tucking the hair behind the ear a bit and tying this itsy bitsy little braid, then sewing thread will be fine. Also, if you notice, her tears are shiny, and I glossed them with the same, what is this? Liquitex high gloss varnish, the same one I use on her lips. Got 2 layers. But later I did add, I believe, I wanted the tears to look more 3D, so I went in with builder gel, like the one you use on your nails, on like a tiny brush to emphasize the little ends right here, and then you have to top coat builder gel anyways, and then I top coated them, but honestly, knowing that, you can just use top coat if you plan to do something like this on your dolls. I think I also included a video of it's just so satisfying seeing the light shine on your tears. This was before I added the gel, the nail stuff on her face, so it's a bit flat. But anyways, I'm gonna pause this here. It's just a photo of her next to the Spectra that my lovely friend Kat at Call Me Doll on Twitter made for me during a style swap. She's so pretty. I love her so much, and I just thought it was funny seeing the duality of these two Spectras now in my collection next to each other. Another one of my friends said one tells only lies and the other tells only truths, and I thought that was so funny. But they're besties. Isn't that cute? Anyways, I'm sorry. This video was exponentially messier than my last one, but again, please forgive me. It is almost 3 a.m. If you made it this far, then thank you so much for sticking through. I'm sorry I couldn't make a neater video for you. Honestly, I could have tried, but I just wanted to get this out as soon as possible so I can prepare for my very busy itinerary coming up with real life things. So I can't remember my usual script at the end of the video, but thank you so much for watching, and hopefully the next time I come back it won't be this sort of huge mess of a video. And if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me on my two socials. Not my one social, I don't. My one social linked below, twitter.com/Sarahfowl. And I hope to see you next time, whenever that may be. Thank you.